Well, good morning, or should I say good afternoon, from the Wellness Homesteader. I had all these intentions today that I was going to get up early. No, that didn't happen. Then I had a video I had to do, so I hope you all watched the frugal tip collaboration with Homestead Tessie and myself. If you haven't, please take a look. I'll try to put a link at the end. So then I got sidetracked and I decided I wanted to clean. And then I looked in the refrigerator and decided I had some ground beef that I probably need to cook. I will almost always pass up a meat meal for a vegetarian meal. And I don't want that ground beef to go to waste. I got a really good deal at Aldi on 90/10 ground beef for $3.49 a pound. So I had enough. I could divide it up and vacuum seal it and put it in my freezer. So, but I don't want that to go to waste. So I need to make a meatloaf. But I wanted a topping for my meatloaf. And since I'm avoiding all the delicious things like bacon and cheese, I thought, I have an entire bag of Vidalia sweet onions. I'm going to make some sweet onion jam. And I'm just going to use up the onions, number one, because they were not new, and can some extra, so I'll have some for now or some for later. I also love sweet onion jam on like black bean burgers, spicy black bean burgers. They're good on hamburgers. It's a sweet and savory jam. So come along with me. We're gonna make some sweet onion jam. So the first thing you want to do, let me tip you down here, is take half stick of butter. Yes, I said half stick, or margarine, or whatever you use. And you do want to use a fairly heavy pan for this, because what we're going to do is reduce this mixture before we can it up. And it's a simple water bath can. It's a 10-minute canning process with a 5-minute rest. So I will get this done. I don't know if I'll get the meatloaf until tomorrow, but that's okay too. So I'm just gonna let this butter melt a little bit before I add my onion. So what I have here is, give or take a little bit, 9 to 10 cups of Vidalia onions. So I just went ahead, piece of peel on that one, and washed them up really good. I chopped them up in my Vidalia onion chopper, which really saves my hands. Plus it gives you some really uniform pieces, which is nice in a product where, you're scooping it out. When I was doing my weekly shopping, I'm just going to dump our onions in here. Not my weekly, my monthly shopping. I found canning jars and I was so excited. I'm actually at Walmart and they had a pretty good selection. And what they had that I don't have were the half pint wide mouth, which that's really great for anything, you have to scoop out or is difficult to get out of a regular mouth jar. So regular price, under $9. So I scooped those up and turn my heat down here. And that's what we're going to use today. So what I've done in preparation, and this will take over an hour to reduce, so I have plenty of time. I store my jars, my canning supplies in the garage, so everything has to be brought in and washed with hot soapy water. I am going to use my Ball electric canner today. It's pretty chilly here. It's not going to get out of the 40s. So it'll be a good way to heat up the house. So I'm kind of excited about that. Plus I'll have more to put in my pantry shelf. So I'm going to let these onions caramelize, and I will bring you back to show you. It's very simple, only 2 more ingredients. It's been about an hour and a half actually, and as you can see, our onions have now cooked way down. They were way up in the pan and have caramelized just beautifully. I've kept it on medium to medium-low heat through this time, and I realized as I was reviewing segment 1, I forgot to mention, I put about a teaspoon of salt, and because I'm going to can this, I use the canning salt because it does not contain the anti-clumping ingredient that could sometimes precipitate out in your canning jars and just look kind of funky. It won't hurt anything if you don't have canning salt. Best thing to do is non-iodized salt, Himalayan salt, whatever you have on hand will work. So now that this has cooked down and our onions are looking great, we're going to add our final 2 ingredients. So the first thing is, and I'm just using the Great Value brand, is balsamic vinegar. So this is going to be sort of a sweet and savory jam. And I'm going to add, for my approximately 10 cups of onions, about 1 1/8 cups. So you'll see it's going to turn a nice deep color. And our onions, even though they've been cooked for a long time, have held together very well. You don't want them so small that they just dissolve. And to that, I'm going to add some of my homemade brown sugar. Now, somebody's going to say, hey, you're using a liquid measuring cup for a solid ingredient, and you should be using the other type of measuring cup. And that is correct. I kind of guesstimated, and what I am adding is 1 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Now you want to cook this, and I'm going to turn the heat up to a good full rolling boil. And I'm just reaching over and turning on my canner as well so that it can start heating up and heating my jars. But you want to bring this to a good boil. Get all of those ingredients, your sugar dissolved, everything well incorporated. And then you want to taste it, because everyone's taste is a little different. Maybe you feel like it's too sweet and it needs more vinegar. Maybe you'll feel like, ooh, it's a little too tangy. I would rather have it a little sweeter. So you'll just want to season it, if you will, or adjust the ingredients to your personal taste or to your family's taste. And then once it's come to a full rolling boil, we'll be ready to start canning. So stay tuned. We have our beautiful sweet onion jam all ready to go. I brought this up to a full boil, let it reduce just a bit. So you can see, out of a 3-pound bag of onions, you don't have as much jam as you might think. I also want to caution you all. A lot of us have what I like to call canner's tattoos. So you see the scars from burns. Let me tell you, this stuff is hot, like candy hot. So you do want to be really careful when you're handling it. So my jars are sterilized. And what we want to do here is fill up our jars to about 1/4 inch headspace, just like you would for any kind of jelly or jam. So you can see I'm right up to that 1/4 inch mark. Wipe your rim really well, because the amount of sugar that is in this, if you've dripped on your edge, you will definitely have problems with your seal. If not, now I get to fight with the pot of rings, which I still heat my rings. I know they say that you don't need to, but I still do it. I also probably have too many jars heating up in the canner right now, but I always prefer to err on the side of having too many versus not enough, because there is nothing worse than being partway through a canning process and realizing that you have to wash and sterilize jars because you have more stuff left to can than what you have jars for. So I'm just continuing this process of cleaning the rims really well with some vinegar and grabbing my warmed up rings and putting them in the canner. So I'll bring you back and let you know how much I got out of about 10 cups of onions and show you the final canned sweet onion jam. Well, we have our 7 wide mouth half pints of sweet onion jam out of the canner. And these sealed so quickly that actually all have sealed in the time it took me to get them out of the canner and turn on the camera. So I'm very thrilled. One of the things that I didn't mention is, if you don't want to can, or you don't enjoy canning, or you want to do a half batch, just to have some on hand for a special occasion or maybe for Thanksgiving. You don't have to can this. It's very high in vinegar, very high in sugar. It will keep in your refrigerator for up to 3 months. So that is an option for you if you don't want to can. I also had, this is what I have left after my 7.5 pints. And it's not completely cold, but it's pretty close. So this definitely firms up, but it makes a nice basting for beef or pork. I think it would be good on anything because I really like onions on anything pretty much. It is kind of funny. I've been burning pumpkin spice candles today in the house over, well, you can't even see. There we go. Over here. So it smells like pumpkin onions in my house. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment below. Is there a sweet, savory jam that you like to make? What's your favorite type of meat topping jam to make? So be well, be healthy, be blessed, and have a great day.